All right, let's talk about the Denver Nuggets now. NBA casuals, they'd probably switch off, I know this team won the championship a couple years ago, but no one was interested because their star player, 4-time MVP, Nikola Jokic, 5-time MVP. I've lost count.
Three.
Oh,
Should have been
still
two.
three. It's still three. He is, for most people, a bit too boring, but we are not casuals today, my friend. Jono, let's preview this team. Where did it go wrong last season? Okay. They looked so goddamn good in the regular season. They come up against the Lakers in the playoffs and they destroy them so beautifully.
Yeah.
And then Minnesota, out of all the teams in the world, no one expected it, but they were the team that had their number. Game 7, down the wire, absolutely bullied them. Rudy Gobert with that.
Fade away to close it out, yeah.
Don't know how he did that, but tell me where it went wrong last season towards the end.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, the regular season was all pretty smooth sailing for them. They were a 1 seed for most of the season, and then with like 3 games to go, they lose to the Spurs. And then suddenly they drop to the 2 seed.
Deadly repercussions,
The 2 seed. And then, as you said, in the playoffs, there's the Lakers and the Minnesota. And in both series, they actually struggled shooting the ball from the 3. And that's something that wasn't too common with Denver. They shot the ball well, even though they were quite low in the league in attempts. But then the way Anthony Davis and Rui Hachimura at certain times defended Jokic, and then the scheme with Gobert and Cat and Nazarene, that really limited that interior attack from the Nuggets. And the Nuggets, they play inside out, whereas most teams in the league play outside in through Jokic, obviously, who is not even arguable. He is the best player in the league. And then with the way Jamal was playing as well, just being so inefficient, struggling to score against anybody in both series, that just limited the Nuggets offense so much. And you saw that even though they had that lead in that game 7, it disappeared so quickly.
And I'm sort of looking at that this season. Towards the back end of last season, yes, Michael Porter Jr. is a great outside shot. But so many times KCP found a way to get a bucket. And this season, KCP is not there anymore. He's in Orlando. And I'm sort of looking at this team. We've got the brother right here. He's probably not playing the 2. It'll be Christian Brown. But for large parts of this season, Russell Westbrook is a Denver Nugget, and he's going to play
a lot of meaningful minutes.
Yeah.
He's going to have.
How's that going to fit now? Because we talk about needing to get a bucket, needing to keep the scoring rate so high when Jokic is off the court, because that is how Denver loses games, loses series even when he's off the court. This man's got to do something. How do you see that all fitting in to the jigsaw?
Look, I think when he's on the court, Jokic has to be on the court for him.
Okay.
For 2 reasons. One, because with the Russ and his style and his ability or non-ability to shoot the ball, I guess, you got to have Jokic there just as not a spread, but a shooter, another extra shooter on the floor. And the second reason is through Jokic. The way Jokic plays, the way Russ plays with his speed, his intensity, his cutting, there's a nice fit there. My only concern is if Aaron Gordon is on the floor with these 2 as well, or another non-shooter, then that interior can get real cramped. And we saw the struggles last year in this playoffs where it was already packed in. If you have Russ in there now as well, it's just not going to be no spacing, and you're going to have 2 outside shooters. And
I agree.
Their balance is going to be really off.
I agree in principle with the spacing, but if any man is still going to be able to do damage with a crowded paint,
Jokic.
I think it's Jokic. I think he can make the right reads. He can make the right passes.
Look, as
even
a scorer,
with it
maybe
being crowded.
But as a passer, I don't know.
There's so many times he makes that pass where it's like, how is that on?
Yeah.
And I still see those things being there.
Yeah, for sure.
And Westbrook still being able to attack the space. Because if teams treat him like a non-shooter, you have the option of him driving, attacking those closeouts, as well as being an off-ball screener for Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, who I think benefit a lot from that sort of action. This team needs to evolve in that sense. We didn't really see it. We don't really see any sort of screening the screener action on the perimeter with Denver.
I think that's just due to how special Jokic is.
I agree. But this is another thing you can add.
You've got to evolve, to
the rest of
because the rest of the league will adapt and they'll evolve. And you kind of saw remnants of that in the playoffs last year. But in terms of Jokic and his play, like he might be able to adjust some bit, but look, against some teams it'll work, but against the better teams in the West and the teams that have a big that can somewhat hold up, like we saw with AD and then maybe with not Cat anymore, but Gobert, Nazarene, and we'll see how they hold up. It's not going to be as easy to just move them inside and then play inside out through Jokic.
They're going
to have to move out of that and adapt.
Let's then take a look at 3 teams. and see how this season sort of pans out for them. Denver versus, let's go with Minnesota. Randall's come in, so obviously a little bit smaller. Do you see
Gobert becomes so important now? So important.
I was going to say Naz Reid becomes so important.
I mean, he was already very important. Both of them become equally as more important now with Cat gone.
So do you think they can keep up with... I'd say Denver's almost a faster paced team now. Randall's sort of a bit slow. I'm not saying Cat was the fastest guy.
Yeah, I mean...
But they're going to play a lot slower with Randall this season.
I mean, Cat usually moves pretty quick. Randall likes to slow down and go into the ISO. I don't know how that's going to work, but that's a discussion for another day, I guess. But yeah, I mean... I think Jokic will have his way now with Minnesota.
One less body to throw at
One
him.
less big body. And also, Cat would make him work on the defensive end.
100%.
With his size, speed, and his shooting.
Do you not think Randall can do that if they get the switch? I know Denver doesn't like to give that switch so often with Jokic, but do you not feel like Randall can actually put in more work in the post against Jokic?
Maybe, but I don't think he's as big of a threat as Cat, and I don't think Jokic will be matched up on him as much as well.
Of course.
Because Randall will be playing the 5.
It's all about getting that switch.
Yep.
Let's go. Where do you want to go next? OKC?
Yeah. Chet and Hardenstein. That is what we discussed recently as well.
So Hardenstein.
This is an interesting one.
We haven't seen much of this last season. Obviously, different conferences, only 2 games.
And also, you don't think he should be starting, right? I do.
Hardenstein, he will start.
Okay.
But I don't think long term, I don't think it's a good play. But he should, You get where I'm coming from.
I think defensively, at least the matchup was quite well. Hardenstein, one of the better big man defenders in the league.
Okay.
And then having Chet as a help defender, even if you're leaving Gordon open a little bit, because of Chet of his height and his length, the recovery time and ability is there, which I think is perfect in terms of that matchup wise.
You don't think that Aaron Gordon can put Chet into the weight room, and also the same thing with Jokic being able to put Hardenstein into the weight room?
I mean, one thing that comes to mind is remember when Giannis had that 55-point game against the Spurs, and then Wemby had that clutch block on him in the last minute where Giannis is backing down crazy, but Wemby got up because of the length.
Yeah.
I'm thinking similar thing here.
Okay.
And look, if the Nuggets are going to play through Aaron Gordon, I'm all for it.
And, we've only focused on the front court, but the back court.
Yeah, I mean.
OKC.
Yeah.
we saw what Minnesota did with Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Look, Jokic is going to have to be insane in that series because I don't think Jamal Murray, Russ, Christian Braun are going to be doing much in that series against Shea, Caruso, Lou Dort.
Do you reckon 4-game series against OKC, Jamal Murray averages...
7-game series.
No, in the regular season.
Oh, okay, right.
In the regular season. 4 games. What does Jamal Murray average against OKC? Is it under 20?
Yeah, I would say under 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jamal, we're not haters. We just want to see you prove us wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Team number 3. Either Dallas... Okay, I was going to say the Lakers, but that chapter is closed in my life. Okay, we've seen that playoff series twice.
No, but it's family now. It's family.
Oh, it's not a family affair on Lockdown Sports.
Okay.
Let's go Dallas.
Okay.
Let's go Dallas.
I mean, you feel pretty strongly about this one, so
I think this is easy money. I saw footage today of Derek Lively running the ball up the court. He's got to do that for about 20 possessions in the game if he wants to wear Jokic down and maybe give his team a chance.
Yeah.
But this team doesn't shoot the ball well enough from the outside with their 4-5 man. And I feel like that's the recipe to beat Denver. You have to be able to score from the outside.
I mean, would you not say PJ Washington shoots well from the 4?
I think we have a set. It was meant to be a 7-game NBA Finals series, but it was a 5-game NBA Finals series.
Yeah.
So I got enough proof of the man that he is.
Okay, but I think matchup-wise, the Nuggets cannot do what Boston did. So then that opens up new possibilities for them offensively. And now with Klay coming, I think Klay's going to be not his best, but an above-average shooter.
You say that, but in all those positions, I still feel like they have their guys. Yes, Luka will have his way with the team, but Klay's come in. MPJ's better than him. And MPJ on the defensive end, this is the improvement that they've needed.
Yeah.
Last season, we saw a very different MPJ.
Yeah.
Very different MPJ. And now with KCP gone, I keep going back to that. Christian Brown has to step in. Same thing with MPJ. These guys have to step in. And Christian Brown, I think, I've seen a few clips this week. Underrated on the defensive end.
I agree.
1v1.
Yeah.
Saw a few clips of him against Jason Tatum as well.
He's undersized,
from the preseason game.
He's smart with how he defends, and he's got good hustle, which is the most important thing.
That's the white boy stereotype the NBA loves to see.
Caruso. Who else? Is there any more white boys in the league?
Tyler Hero? Can we sneak that one?
Not defensively.
He tries. He tries. It doesn't look like it sometimes.
But with Dallas, look, it's all up to the big man. If they can't hold Jokic and you're going to have to double, even triple at times, then it's going to be almost impossible to defend. It starts with those two, Gafford and Lively.
Before we wrap up.
Yep.
Season prediction wins.
Regular season?
Yes.
See, 50-win seasons are considered pretty successful. Jokic. Murray's been quite bad the last few months, I'm going to go 48 wins.
48 wins.
Yeah. Okay. 48-34 record.
You heard it here first. Please don't hold us to these takes. This is NBA Casuals. We live in Australia. Different time zones, different people. Every week, you can come here, take your shoes off at Lockdown Sports for your weekly basketball podcast. Yep. Stay tuned for more. Ciao.